All right, Programming 12, we're going to continue on making our character upgrade screen so that we can have, our character get stronger as we blow up more monsters, which is kind of how these games work for whatever reason. That's the mechanic. So first off, hopefully you've made yourself kind of an upgrade screen. You have the text laid out, and you have sort of a place for your variables to go and be displayed, and you have some buttons that you can click. It maybe doesn't work yet, but hopefully it's ready to go. So if you have that, then you're in the right place. Also, hopefully you made those changes to the game object class so that things like XP, max HP, speed are all sort of in that place. And notice my hero no longer has a speed. If you originally were following along with these videos, I believe we had an int speed variable in here, and no longer. We have moved that now to the game object class, and we should probably integrate it with the other enemies and bullets and things, but I'll leave that to you for an exercise. I'll do mine eventually too. So first off, we got to make those variables we made actually mean something. We have to go and put them into the places they belong so that they will affect how the game is played. So for example, a good place to start is the constructor. What are the initial values? So for me, for example, hey, check it out. Max HP and HP both need to be set to 100 at the beginning of the game. Presumably you're starting at full hit points, but also you want to make sure you know what the maximum is as well. And then don't forget to make that for when you heal as well. So max, let's just look up, what is max? Ooh, hello. Where else am I using it? Yeah, here's when I am healing. For example, before I just had this hard-coded as 100. So I gain 10 HP if I pick up a health potion, right? But now I check to make sure that HP is not greater than the max HP. And if it is, then I just set it to max. So in other words, if I have only 2 points left and I get a health potion, instead of going above, I just go up those 2 points to the maximum. So this is an example of making this variable mean something, right? It literally now is a max. I can't go above it. And if I increase this number in the character upgrade screen, then all of a sudden I can heal, more. So that's a good feature. I think I also when I increase the max, I also increase the current as well, just so that it's an immediate bonus as well. Okay, so there we go. That's the start for us. Also, make sure you're using speed. Not everybody's using speed right now. Maybe you just ignored it entirely. So, where do I use speed? Well, don't forget in my constructor, you have to set it to some number for your hero. And then I'm actually using it right here. You might already have this because maybe we did this in the video together. But, make sure that we're using the game object's speed and don't have two variables, one declared here as well. So this actually, as I increase this value, if it goes up, then I will go faster. So that's great. So speed actually means something. Damage, I'll leave it to you to think about. Damage is going to be applied kind of a flat bonus to all the damage I do in the game from whatever bullet. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's a place for you to figure out how to make that work. Obviously, that will add advantage to guns that fire more than one bullet, or guns that fire faster, as opposed to say like a sniper rifle. But I don't know. I'm not really worried about making it very balanced right now. Just showing you how you can make these things adjustable. And I'll leave it up to you to come up with cool ideas on how to balance. Also, by the way, if you come up with other variables and other things you'd like to upgrade, then that's great. We'll have a whole part of the project where you'll just get to explore. And if you want to explore this concept of interesting upgrade paths and things like that, then you can experiment and explore that in more detail. So we're just going to get kind of the basics working. So there we go. Our variables are now plugged in and useful. What about enemies? We should probably make sure that's plugged in and useful over here too. Don't forget, for all your enemies, you're going to have to set an XP value. That's how much XP that you gain when you kill it. So you have to go set that for this, and then any other enemy types that you've made, your followers, your turrets, your spawners, all those different kind of things need to have an XP set. They don't currently have it, right? So you'll have to go put that into all the constructors. So followers get 1 XP, and turrets get 5, or whatever numbers you think are appropriate. Okay, so that's good. And then in enemy, how do you award the XP? Well, when the creature dies, then that's when you give it your XP. You give the hero your XP. So, for example, let's see. I'll jump down. Here's my collision code, and this is just in the enemy class itself, right? So all enemies use this code for dying. So here it is. I just, when I die, I just increase my hero's XP by the enemy's XP. This plus equals operator is the same thing as saying this, my hero.xp plus XP. So XP is the monster or the enemy's XP. This is the hero's XP. So I'm just increasing it by its value. So if it's 1, it increases by 1. If it's 5, it increases by 5, and so on. I also have this cool little message thing that gets dropped. It's basically just a little object that I put into the game, and it kind of floats and rises. It's not doesn't float at all. It just has a position. So I just send it a location and a string, which is going to be how much XP it went up by. So if this enemy had 5 XP that it would gain, then this would say plus 5. If it has a 1, then it would say plus 1 when it dies. So you can sort of see the reward when you get it. It's just a separate class, and you're welcome to make that. In fact, I think I'll make it part of the project for the checkpoint. Will be to make your own message class. And you can watch the last video to see examples of it. It doesn't have to glow. Mine has a light radius. Yours does not have to have that. But it should show up on the screen and be visible and demonstrate how much XP you've gotten from defeating that monster. So these are all the sort of things you need to put in to make the experience system work. Eventually, that means it'll plug into your pause screen. So I'll just go over here and show you the beginnings of my pause screen. You won't necessarily have the shadow text, thing. I wrote my own function so that I can have like layered text. So it has text of one color and then a background text of another color. So it looks like it's got a shadow. It doesn't really matter. Main thing is you need to put this information out. You can just use the regular text function if you want to. So here's me saying here's how much XP I have, and here's how much max HP I have, and here's my speed, and here's my damage. This will work exactly in a text function as well as any custom shadow text function or whatever. And I just put these up on the screen, and then I have my buttons. So here's me, like my increase HP button, my increase speed button, and so on. Later on, I'll have some if statements, and I'll let you think about that. So basically, everything costs 5 XP, so I'm only allowed to click on my buttons if I have at least 5 XP. And then when I click it, if I click a button, then I will, I basically just increase any one of these by 1. Whether or not that's good, or no, actually, I guess HP increases by 5. But speed increases by 1, and damage increases by, I think I actually increased by 2, but it doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be balanced. It doesn't have to make sense just yet, but it should increase, and that should also cause my XP to decrease, right? I'm spending the experience points to get the bonus in the HP or the speed or whatever, so that should decrease the experience. So ultimately, it should work kind of like this. So I'll just run it again. I guess I'll have to go get some monsters, blow them up with my little gun. Pew! Kaboom! There's 5 XP. Oh, I didn't hit a single thing. There's another 5 XP. So if I, pause, it says, oh, I got 15 XP somehow. I'm not too sure what that is. I'll have to look and see. Maybe I have some mistake, but it doesn't really matter. Now I can spend it. So if I spend it on speed, I can click it, and notice that it increases by 1, and this decreased by 5, because each one of these costs 5. I'll get it all the way to 6, but now I press it again, it doesn't work. And that'll be built into the logic that's in the pause screen. You'll have if statements that will deal with what happens when you click on these buttons. So yeah, if I click again, see, it doesn't work. But you'll notice that I am faster. Like my character moves around quite a bit faster. It's almost comically fast, compared to my character animation. So kind of goofy. And again, balance isn't what we're looking for. If that's something you want to experiment with, you can always, adjust these things. And it wouldn't be hard to choose probably better numbers than, say, just +1 to speed. If you want to have a increasing scale as you go up the ranks, so that's great too. I think those are all cool ideas that you could experiment with. But that's basically going to be the story behind how you make this work. Don't forget to also include the message class. I'm purposely not talking too much about the message class. I think it's a really good, just practice. This project's all about object-oriented programming. Oh, the Dodger is so good at dodging. Oh, but if you get hit in the face, there's nothing you can do. Dodger. This +5, that's the message class. it was worth 5 experience points when I killed that monster. So it gave me a +5, and that was fantastic. I actually think I have a problem. Oh no, that's good. It gave me a +5. So now I can go spend it and return and so on and go on. Okay, so hopefully that's making sense, and I hope that you're able to make progress on this. This is sort of our new feature, and I think after we've done that feature, we've sort of set out to do all the basic things that we wanted to do for this project. There's so much more we can do. Don't get me wrong. There's like each one of these features could expand in vast ways to make an interesting game. So, I think that's the next thing we'll talk about is sort of what are our next steps. We've done all the fundamental things that we set out to do. Where should we go next? So stay tuned for that in a future video where we'll wrap up the project and lay out sort of our future things that we'll do. Okay, thanks so much, everybody. Bye-bye.